Well, let's talk about what else is going on in the auto industry right now with Paul Bryant, an auto industry analyst, broadcaster, and host of the automotive web series, His Turn, Her Turn. Welcome to the show.
Good evening, Rachelle.
So, scanning what the auto industry is focusing on this year, how are buyers' tastes and needs changing?
Well, as the gentleman who was on just before said, people are still looking for the abilities that the crossover vehicle and the sport utility vehicle afford. It's kind of a rarity now to see new sedans entering into the market. The consumer here in the States is very involved in making sure that it has capabilities. The other thing that the capabilities of not only cargo carrying but also people carrying. We've seen introductions of a number of three-row SUVs here. The fabulous Lincoln Navigator for Aviator rather for one. Hyundai came along with the Palisade, the Kia Telluride. They're all competing for this three-row market, which is very, very popular.
Now, I also want to take a look at electric vehicles. Obviously, a lot of car companies are gearing in that direction, but globally, sales are down for the first time in years. Why are we seeing that?
I would posit that if the United States is any indicator of it, it's because the consumer doesn't want them. If you take a look at the market 10 years ago, Rachelle, and you say, what was the demand for electric vehicles 10 years ago? Sales were somewhere around 1.75%. Let's fast forward 10 years at this point to take a look at what the demand is right now. And miraculously, it's about 1.75%. So with all of the innovations that have come along, and the cars are better than they used to be, there's just nobody that's knocking on doors at dealerships saying, geez, I've got to have one. Yesterday, I thought was almost a bit of corporate hubris on the part of Porsche, where they came out with a $150,000 Taycan electric vehicle, and if you optioned it up to everything, it's about $200,000, and then they try to spin, or the people who like this say, oh, it's all in the name of making sure that everything's clean and people want electric vehicles. Well, right. They really don't.
And the thing is, a lot of people that you speak to, they're really not seeing the infrastructure for all of these charging stations that would accommodate it. Meanwhile, obviously, you have access to gas stations much more easily. How are battery storage capabilities and some of this infrastructure, how is that keeping pace with EV innovation?
It's not. I mean, you're seeing expansion for a market that, look, I was given an electric vehicle, for instance, over the holidays, Christmas holiday, to drive. I live about 25 miles west of Chicago. When I received the car, I had about an 80-mile range on it, about half of the battery life that I was told. So what I had to do was make sure that I wanted to be at maximum capacity before I drove downtown, parked the car overnight, and came home. So I went to a charging station, plugged in, and for the 50% of the battery that was still left, the car informed me that I had a 7-hour and 40-minute wait to charge it. And I thought to myself, my God, I could drive to Milwaukee twice round trip in that time. So it
certainly is acting as a deterrent, especially with these long charges. I do also want to
it's the ultimate part of range anxiety.
It's true. Now something that may take some of the pressure off driving, autonomous vehicles. We do see a lot of car makers pushing towards that. But again, we're not really seeing when this might be coming to market. What's your prediction for that?
Well, I know I'm not going to see it in my lifetime, and I'm guessing that you aren't either. There's so much that has to be done. If you were to take a look at the airline industry, for instance, and you say, well, if you took the same technology that they're proposing for cars, and you were to apply that to the airline industry, where you have, granted, a fair amount of traffic up in the air, there's a lot of planes up there, but there's certainly a lot more control, and you certainly don't have things jumping out from behind parked airplanes when you're flying from New York to Cleveland. So you would think that that would be a good application for autonomous flying, not autonomous driving. But think of all of the different variables. We have yet to construct a computer, despite what happened on Jeopardy with IBM's Watson, that thinks better than the human mind does in terms of judgment. And it's the judgment part that's radically, radically missing from the autonomous vehicle component. You can, sure, you can tell it to drive on a track and go here, and if they're going to use it at the Olympics, we're going to go from one venue to another venue, and we'll be able to do that, and people get on and off. Come on. I mean, that's not like when you get in the car and you want to drive someplace.
True.
Let's think to the year 2500 when Captain Kirk still had Mr. Sulu on the bridge saying, drive the Enterprise out here.
Well, certainly a long road ahead. Thank you so much for breaking all that down for us. Paul Bryan there, host of the automotive web series, His Turn, Her Turn. Thank you so much.
Thank you.